Good day, folks. Welcome back to Ed's Garage at Bannister Hyundai. So today, very exciting day for me. I get to show you the 2024 all-new redesigned Santa Fe. Now we have right here a 2024 Santa Fe luxury trim. It's the very first one on our lot, and it is already sold. It was sold before it got here, yeah, it's gorgeous. I think it looks great. The only thing that hasn't quite grown on me yet is the back end, but I'm sure it will eventually. So today what I want to do, I can't actually drive this because it is a sold unit, but I just want to show you everything that I can about the vehicle. I haven't actually done full Hyundai training on the Santa Fe yet, the 2024 Santa Fe. However, I'm pretty sure I can muddle through because a lot of it's going to be crossed over from other models. Things like the infotainment system and everything is pretty much the same as what's in the brand new Kona and what's in the brand new, Ionic 5, Ionic 6, that sort of thing. Actually, no, it's not. This is the CCNC system with the wireless Apple CarPlay Android Auto. So same as the Kona, nonetheless. But anyway, let's go over it. We're going to start at the front, move our way to the back, then jump inside the vehicle, both back and front. So first off, I'm going to say it once, and then I'm not going to say it anymore. Yes, it looks kind of Land Rover-ish. It's way longer, though, but that's the extent that I'm going to go over. Great styling on this vehicle. I mean, yes, I'm sure they took some styling cues from that other model, other vehicle, but either way, it looks cool. Really boxy look on this vehicle. So, at the front here. So first off, you're going to see these big H's. Now that, of course, is your daytime running light, so that's pretty cool. Let me just fire it up here so you can see what that looks like. We do have remote start on these, and of course you can do it either from the key or from BlueLink. So there we go. So that's what that looks like. Really cool. Now I'm not sure if that middle thing lights up or not. Maybe it does. There we go. Now the engine's running, and yes, 100%. That is a light bar that goes all the way across the front end. Super cool. Now it doesn't actually flash like that in real life, guys. Keep in mind that's just the refresh rate of the camera. And you'll also notice we do have projection headlights and high beams. Those look really cool. Actually, they're super narrow. Really cool. We have the air curtain pass through here, which of course creates that curtain of air over the front wheels to reduce aerodynamic drag. And even on this luxury trim, front parking sensors. Also on the front, you can see we have the front camera and these active air flaps that open up for extra cooling when required. So those will open up automatically. Pretty cool. Right here you got the forward-facing radar system, and up in the windshield you have the forward-facing camera. Those things together, of course, make up for the autonomous emergency braking system, adaptive cruise control, lane centering, lane keep assist, pedestrian detection, junction turning detection, etc. So all of the forward safety features. Right above that camera, you can see we do have the sensor for the windshield wipers. It, of course, has automatic wipers, nice smooth Hyundai badge in the front, and a hood that stretches all the way to the front of the vehicle and very far out to the sides. And we're going to open that hood in a little bit, and I'll show you what's under the hood. Coming around the side, though, you can see we have an additional sensor here. And these really nice 20-inch aluminum alloy wheels. I really like this, kind of like a helicopter design wheels. And that is, let me see here, they're wrapped in Pirelli Scorpions. That's kind of cool. Check it out. You got a little Scorpion logo on the tire there as well. So that's a 255/45 R20. All right, a little further back, we got this little Hyundai Santa Fe badge on here. Just a little bit of styling cue. And of course, flanked by the mirrors. Now it is, let me see here. So you got blind spot monitoring there, you got the marker light on the mirror, and there's a camera there for the 360 surround system. And these are power folding mirrors. So finally, on something other than a calligraphy trim, you can get power folding mirrors. Passing by the door handle, you'll notice there's no physical button. That's because it does have the digital key system, so you can actually just walk up, open the doors with your key, but it also has the sensor for when you put your hand in there. As long as you have the key fob with you, it'll unlock the door. And is there a light in there? Yes, there is. There's still a little light in behind the door handle that comes on as you approach the vehicle as well. All right, now if you've seen other people's reviews of this vehicle, you may have seen the little handle that comes in the XRT trim. The luxury doesn't have that. However, it does still have these really nice beefy side rails, and man, are they strong. So that's an actual steel rail. You can tie right down to that, or of course you can get the cross rails. This one does have the dual panel sunroof, which I'll show you in a bit. Gas door on this one, of course, does remain locked until the car's doors are unlocked, so that's kind of nice. We have backup sensors as well. So all along the back here, lots of backup sensors. And of course, there is your backup camera there. And what do you think of the back here, guys? Feel free to comment your thoughts on the back. One thing I will point out is that while it does have a rear view window wiper, you don't see it because it's tucked up into here. So that's a nice touch. So it keeps the aesthetics of the back end quite nice. We have the chrome tip exhaust on the right-hand side there. And of course, the little H lights that are flashing away on the camera. They're not actually flashing in real life, though. Same story as the front. All right, and as with all Hyundais with a power tailgate or smart power trunk or something like that, this one does indeed also have the smart power lift gate. So if I stand behind it for 4 seconds, it automatically opens up as long as the key is with me in my pocket. And there we go. And again, as with most Hyundai SUVs, I can actually stand under here very, very comfortably, and I can adjust this height, have it stop at a certain height as well, but this is its max height. Now I'm 6'2", we've got about 2 inches above my head, and you'll notice how wide the opening is. It's actually quite wide. There's lots of room in this vehicle, tons of storage space actually, and for the first time in several years, you actually have 3-row seating. So check this out, we can put up the 3rd row. There it is. And these actually do recline a little bit as well, so you don't necessarily have to lock it in at that position. You can lock it in at a higher position as well, as you can see. So if I lock it in there, and you'll notice I got a little strap here. So you can do that from when you're sitting in the car as well. You can kind of lean over and reach the strap to recline that seat. So that's kind of cool. Let's fold that back down. And you'll notice we have a USB-C port there, a couple of cup holders, and on this side a USB-C port, couple cup holders, control for your rear air, as well as an AC 110-volt power outlet. We have the little clip for the seat belt there, and a quick means to fold down the 2nd row. So you press those, 2nd rows will flop down. All right, well, that is the back. I guess the next thing to try is the 2nd row. So let's go ahead and open the doors. Now this one does have, as you can tell, the mirrors are folded in, and we do have, of course, the auto outfolding mirrors when you unlock the doors. Auto outfold, you know what I mean. Now let's get into the 2nd row here. And yes, I have moved the vehicle. Matter of fact, it's not even the same day. Okay, so sitting in the back seat now, 2nd row, I have enough room in front of my legs, but this seat is actually back right now because it has the easy access seating thing. So when you open the door, the seat actually moves back to make it easier to get in and out. So I wouldn't actually drive it with the seat here. The seat's going to go further forward when I get in there, and you'll see what I mean. But let's have a look at some things here. So first off, we have 2 cup holders in the door and a bottle holder further down. So that is 4 cup holders in the back, 6 cup holders in the 2nd row, and 1, 2, 3, 4 in the 1st row. So what is that? 14 cup holders. That's crazy. There isn't any in the armrest, is there? Let's have a look here. Oh, there's more in the armrest. Wow. We got a lot of cup holders in this thing. 16 cup holders if you're counting the bottle holders. Anyway, so really nice grip here. You can see this is all padded, even up here. This is plastic. We got a little bit of wood trim in here, which is nice, and then some more soft touch materials up here. We do have the peasant blockers, which is cool. Really easy, and they stretch all the way from one side to the other of the window, so that's quite nice. Let me see here. Speaker grill down here. No branding on it at all. And then on the pillar, we have the nice H-shaped kind of vent, which is cool. This is cool too. So check this out. We got the hard seat backs. There is a nice, oh wow, that really opens far. Big pocket there, and that's on both of the backs of the front seats. You also have these cool convenient hooks here that you can hang things on. Down on the floor, it's actually a pretty flat floor. I can really, shove my feet underneath the front seat quite easily. And there's a little bit of a bump here. Of course, this is an all-wheel drive vehicle, but not much, there's actually a good amount of space there. Now, what do we got here, actually? I haven't opened this up yet. Oh, check this out. Oh, that's cool. Just an extra bunch of storage here, which is really nice. I'm not sure why, but... Oh, interesting. So, even further through this hole, I can feel carpet. Not sure exactly where that goes, to be honest. So we're going to have to figure that out. But that's really neat, because this doesn't actually come out any further. That's as far as it goes. I wonder if... Oh, this comes out too. Yeah, that might be accessible from the front. So we'll have to get to that. Oh, check this out. Look at this. I can open up the center console from the back and then, okay. So there's some storage in here. I take this out and look at that. We can get to this bottom section now. So I'm going to pull this out again. Oh, look at that. That is super cool. Okay, and then of course this little divider comes out as well. So I'm learning new things here, guys. This is fun. Now, what's cool about this this armrest for the front passengers is that you can put it in. You can open it up from this side, but you can also open it up from this side because it depends on where you're sitting. So that is really, really neat. Okay, as far as the comfort of the second row, so I can slide the seat forwards and backwards depending on, you know, what the rear passengers need, and I can also recline this seat. Look at that. Ooh, I just noticed something. When I reclined it, the base of the seat actually tilted up a little bit. That makes it way more comfortable. That is super cool. Okay, I got to show you that. So check this out. As I move the seat to a normal position, see it kind of, let me see here. Do you see that? So the seat base, I don't know how else to show you that, but basically it just kind of came up a little bit underneath my legs to make it just that much more comfortable. That is really, really cool. Okay, tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to jump in the front seat. I'm going to get it to where I am as a 6'2" individual. Then I'm going to jump in the back seat, get the back seat as far forward as I can where it's still comfortable, and then I'm going to jump in the third row. So first, let's get out and set up the front seat. Okay. All right, so I'm going to lean it back a little bit, but I am going to raise it a bit, give it a bit more of a commanding view, and I got to get a little closer. Right about there, I would say. Okay, that's pretty good there. Okay, yeah, that's a comfortable driving position for me. I got lots of support under my legs. Now I'm going to go back to the second row. Oh, hopefully the seat doesn't move now. Okay, no, it stayed. Perfect. Okay. And now I have lots of room, as you can see, right? But I'm going to move it forward a bit now because I want to give the third row passengers the best possible seating positions. There we go. So I still have an inch in front of me. I am, however, going to lean this back just a touch. There, that's good. Okay, so now to make sure we don't accidentally move this seat, I'm going to get in on the passenger side. So let's walk around. I'll leave that door open for a moment here for some extra light. Walk around to the passenger side here. And I'm not going to move the driver's side second row seat, just this one here. Okay, now I'm going to climb into the third row. So keep in mind that this third row, not really meant for adults. But hey, I'm back here. So my knees are up against the back of this seat. So probably not a great idea to have three people, all of which are 6'2", sitting behind each other. So just keep that in mind. Now I can recline this. Can I recline any? No, it's already reclined. Okay, so it's reclined all the way. I do have enough headroom. You can see my legs are pretty jammed in here. But all in all, I mean, I could sit back here for probably, I would say comfortably, I'd say 2 hours at most. It's a bit tight, but that is to be expected. This isn't a Palisade. This is why Hyundai has the Palisade, is so that you can do this and actually put adults in the third row. But this is doable for short trips. So I'm going to give it a pass. If not the most ideal third row. But hey, at least it has a back, a third row seat. So that's kind of nice. I also do love how easy it is to get the seat out of the way. Just pressing that little button quickly flips it out of the way. And then there's also a little tab at the bottom here. Check that out. So what that does, let's see if this works here. I'm just going to move this back. There we go. I'm going to pull that little tab, see what it does here. So that little tab there, I guess that's just an emergency release for the seat back if for whatever reason the button doesn't work. So you got a button right here to move it, and then of course there's a button on the outside edge of the seat that's lower. But the other thing you can do here, so this is something that not a lot of people realize, is you can just fold the seat down. So I'm going to try to do that. Get out of the way. There we go. And now, if you're in the third row, if you've only got a couple of kids and they want to sit in the lap of luxury, we can sit like this and have our feet up. That's actually quite comfy. All right, I like this. Okay, let's check out under the hood next. All right, struts to hold the hood up, which is always nice. Very, very clean under here. Now, what I mean by clean is not that it's physically clean. What I mean by it clean is the fact that they've covered up the sides here. They've got a nice little sort of manufactured foam product here to kind of keep the leaves and stuff out, but still squish down when the hood comes down. Even this is sealed up, which is good to see. That reduces a bunch of air noise, wind noise. This as well, it's got a seal along it. We have some insulation on the bottom of the hood here, lots of insulation on the firewall, and even some insulation over the wheel wells. So that's going to really, really keep this a very nice and quiet vehicle. Now, it's a SmartStream turbo engine. This uses a 2.5 liter 4-cylinder with a twin scroll turbo. It makes about 280 horsepower thereabouts and about 310 foot-pounds of torque. So it's no slouch. And that's actually made it to an 8-speed wet dual clutch transmission. So very, very quick off the line for the size of the vehicle and enough passing power, certainly enough passing power. But what's special about this engine is it's actually got something called continuously variable valve duration that can on the fly modify the compression level, and the benefit of that is that under heavy loads when you need to, it can actually increase compression to give you a bit more power, and when it doesn't need to, it can decrease compression by leaving the valves open a little bit longer to increase the fuel efficiency. But the other cool thing is, check this out, if you want to change your own air filter, it's just as easy as that. There's your air filter. Look at that. So within about 10 seconds, you can take out the air filter and put a new air filter in. The only other thing to note here is just how much room there is around the engine. So maintenance is going to be really easy on this vehicle. It's very, very important that technicians can get down in around the outsides of the engine and not have to worry about, moving things out of the way. So general maintenance on this vehicle and future repairs are going to be a little bit lesser expensive just because of that ability to access everything easily. Okay, so that is pretty much everything except for the driver's seat. So that's the next place we're going to go after looking at the passenger seat. Actually, we're going to check out the passenger seat, then we'll jump in the driver's seat. All right, so the reason I wanted to check out the passenger seat is because this is a luxury trim, not the top level. It's one level down, but you do still get a power passenger seat. And it's 1, 2, 3, 4, that's tilt, 5, 6, that's height, and then 7, 8. So 7-way adjustable driver's or passenger seats, sorry. And then of course you can raise and lower the headrests manually. As far as the rest of the passenger side, not really much else to talk about. You do have this nice cool storage bin right here. Actually, there is quite a bit to talk about. Let's talk about the glove compartment situation here. So we have just the typical glove box right here, which is a reasonable size, but right above that is a nice little parcel shelf. Maybe you could put a cell phone there or whatever. And then behind this, now this is kind of weird because there is an airbag here, but it actually pops out of the top. But check this out, more storage right here. So if you really want to hide things, this is something that just looks like part of the dash. You have to know that this button is here in order to use it. So pretty cool little storage options there. And then even more storage because there's a nice little tray right here, which you could put something as well. It's not rubbery though, so I'm not sure exactly what the idea was behind that. As far as the seats themselves, pretty comfortable seats. This is a true leather product. It is a little bit of heavier leather, so this stuff is going to wear very, very well over time, but it looks pretty nice as well. All right, finally getting into the driver's side. So we get to see this beautiful wood trim on the left here, surrounded by the nice brushed aluminum look. We've got a couple of memory seats and mirror buttons right here. So to set those, basically what you do is once you've got your seat and mirrors figured out, you're going to hold that until it beeps, then it'll remember that position for next time. On the door, just your typical stuff. You do have the button here to fold the mirrors in and out, which is kind of nice. And then of course control the mirrors. You've got auto up and down on both of the front windows, and then you have a lockout for the rear doors and windows as well. The seat on this side has all the same features as the passenger side, plus 1, 2, 3, 4-way adjustable lumbar support. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12-way power adjustable driver's seat. On the dashboard, you can see we have our e-brake here. Now, it is a automatic e-brake as well that will set and release automatically. Got your dimmer switch, got your hold button for your trunk, and of course your traction and stability control. All right, just taking it all in here, having a look at this beautiful dashboard layout. I think Hyundai really knocked it out of the park. A couple things that really stood out right away. This beautiful curved screen system here. So we have two 12-inch screens integrated into this nice curved panel. There is a little magnetic spot right here, and this is not actually magnetic. There's steel behind it, so you can put magnets there. So keep that in mind. But check this out. The craftsmanship of the ambient lighting strips here is phenomenal. Like, I can't feel, you can feel a little bit of a, no, you can't, maybe, barely. You can barely feel that there's something different there instead of just the panel, but it's so well integrated. Look at this. It's absolutely gorgeous, and it goes across the dash. So it starts there, stops at the wheel, and then on the other side goes across to the far side there as well. Now, and that, you can actually change the color of that. Let's do that real quick, actually, while we're looking at it. I'm going to change the color. Now, the funny thing is that the owner of this vehicle came by a little bit earlier, and I said, yeah, you can change the color to whatever color you want. And she says, blue is good. And now I'm going to change it. So we're going to change it back for her, but I just want to show you what it looks like. So we can go to color here, the color wheel. Oh, they changed the color wheel. And now I like orange, so we're going to put that on orange for a second. Look at that. That is super cool. It looks really, really nice. Now, I'm not 100% sure if the ambient light comes out of any other spot on the luxury trim. I don't see it anywhere. I think it's just that lighting strip. But you know what? That is better than nothing. Keep in mind, there is one trim level above this as well. Just notice the ambient lighting actually comes out underneath the screen. That looks super cool. Also, underneath the wood trim, the door panel section here. So all along here, and in the back as well. Check it out. All right, let's have a look at some of the functionality here. So first off, on the steering wheel. So all of these buttons basically are related to how the vehicle drives. So you've got your cruise control here, and then you have your instrument cluster controls right here, and then the lane keep assist button here. So these three buttons are related to cruise control. This one will turn it on and set your initial speed, and then you can adjust the speed with these, or resume the speed with these, or set new speeds. So it's a button that you press, increase, decrease, that sort of thing. This one right here is for your adaptive cruise setting. So this is how far behind the vehicle in front of you you want this vehicle to follow. These two right here go through everything on that little screen, which we'll get back to in a bit. And then this one turns on your lane keep assist or your lane centering. So by default, lane keep assist will be on. You can see the icon right there. And then lane centering will be off by default. You can turn it on and off. That's the little steering wheel right there. So when either of those lights up in green, that means it's active. On the back of the steering wheel, you can see we have the paddle here to gear down. There's another paddle to gear up. So if you want, you have the paddle shifters. In the middle of the steering wheel, we have the Morse code for dots for the letter H. So they've taken the H out and replaced it with that. So that's just a holdover from the Ioniq brand. On the right-hand side here, all of these control things on the stereo. So basically you have your mode button, which switches between where music's coming from. AM, FM, Sirius XM, satellite radio, Bluetooth, projected, CarPlay, Android Auto, etc. This is your next song, previous song, or next preset, previous preset. This is a customizable button, which I always set that to actually open up the home screen. So when we press that right now, it's going to take us back to this home screen on the screen. Obviously, on the screen, we have your voice recognition button here. So let's give that a quick shot. Driver's seat warmer to level 3.
Setting the driver's seat warmer to level 3.
There it is. Now this vehicle does have heated seats and ventilated seats, so you could also say driver's seat ventilation level 3 or whatever. And I'm going to turn that off because I'm really not that cold, so we'll turn that off. Below that we have our volume control, is also a mute button if we press it, and then below that is the answer button, so you can answer phone calls with that button. Behind the steering wheel we have our turn signal stalk, which of course gives you the beautiful blind view monitor when you turn the turn signal on. Look at that. So when the signal is on the left side or when it's on the right side, you'll get a view down the right side of the vehicle using the 360 camera system. Very, very cool. But as far as the controls of this, you can put it on momentary signal, so it does 3 flashes, 5 flashes, or 7 flashes. Right now it's set to 3. You have automatic headlights here, and then you also have automatic headlights in the full on position, but it'll just be headlights on all the time and then shuts it off when you turn the car off. You also have auto high beams. So if I press the high beams on right now, it's not auto, but if I put the headlights in auto and then press it, you can see it says auto up there as well. So for that, you do have to have the headlights in auto as well, but we always put it on this setting. We find that's the safest because now we have tail lights during the day as well. On the right-hand side, of course, is your windshield wiper washer stock. So it does have the automatic setting here. So if I drop that, oh, sorry, they changed it. So if I push that up, you can see we are now, there it is, in auto. And I can adjust the level of auto, so that's the aggressiveness of the automatic system. And then on the end here we have our rear wiper, which is actually comes down from the top. Let me see if you can see that there. So that's kind of nice because the wiper is actually hidden underneath the rear spoiler. But it's also automatic, the rear wiper. So if you have the auto system turned on, you have the front wipers are going, you put the car in reverse, it'll turn the rear wiper on. I hope all of that made sense, guys. I know I'm kind of screwing my words up a little bit here. Below that, we have the rotating stock for the gear that you want to put it in. So there's neutral, there's reverse, and then there's drive. And we push the end of it to put it into park. Or we just stop the car, get out, and as soon as we open the door, it'll quickly flip into park for us. The other way to put it into park is just shut the car off, and it'll put it into park as well. I would recommend that you just put it into park first, though, so keep that in mind. Put it into park, then shut the car off, but you get the idea. It's there, it's designed to keep you safe. So now let's talk about the center screen here on the instrument cluster. So basically, you have these two guys here. This one will control the different menus within the system. So you can see along the bottom, there's these 3 little lines just indicating that there are 3 separate screens that we can look at, 3 separate menus rather. And then the dots indicate that there are more screens within these menus. And to get to those, we use the little scroll wheel to go up or down. And then we can also press OK here if we want to do something. So if we're looking at our current trip, that's just basically how far we've gone, how long the car's been running, and the average kilometers per liters, and then the instant kilometers per liters right here, or miles per gallon if you have it set that way. So if I scroll down once, it shows us basically that since refueling. So I'm going to go ahead and reset that. That's going to be reset again later anyway, because we're going to get this client a full tank of fuel. Drop it down again, shows us our accumulated information, which we can also reset. There we go. And it's currently set to kilometers per liter. So we're going to change that to liters per 100 kilometers for the client. If I drop it down again, we have our auto stop timer. Right below that, we have our tire pressure monitor system. And then we have our all-wheel drive info screen. So basically what this does is as you start driving, it'll show you which wheels are getting power. So that's all that is. And if I pull it down one more time, it bounces to the top. Press that top button once, takes us to our current orientation relative to north, so we're currently facing west. So if I set a destination with the built-in navigation, I'm just going to set this as the destination here. We don't need Blue Link right now. Okay, start guidance. All right, so now you'll see that in the center screen, it actually has our turn-by-turn directions. So instead of a compass there, we now have turn-by-turn directions. And if I press the top button again, it takes us back to this screen, which is basically just our drive information, what's happening around us, whether there's cars in front of us, beside us, or if we're drifting over the center lines, that sort of thing. All right, so that's pretty much everything in the center of the instrument cluster in a nutshell, but I do want to show you a couple things about the instrument cluster and what is basically on it. So right here, obviously, we have our analog speedometer, we have our fuel gauge right here, we have the auto start-stop system turned on. It's currently 9 degrees outside, we're in park. We have a maximum speed limit sign right here, because this vehicle can actually read speed limits off of signs. Currently what's going on with the headlights, and then of course our tachometer on the right with the temperature gauge on the bottom of that. And then on the bottom right is our overall odometer. But if I put the vehicle into a different drive mode, so if I go up or down on the drive mode button here, you can see the indicators actually all changed, all of the instrument cluster, which is kind of cool. So we have our normal, our sport, and our My Drive, which is a customizable drive system or drive mode. Then if I go into the different terrain modes, I have snow, mud, and sand. Doesn't really change the screen, but those are the different all-wheel drive modes that we have as well. So we'll get a little bit back to the drive modes a little bit later because they're in the settings as well. But for now, let's look at the rest of the system here. So we have big cup holders with some really nice springy things. So you can put small cups in or big cups. Right above that, we have the 2 pads for cell phones. Now, this is a wireless charger. This one, though, is not. So basically, you can use the USB port here to charge your phone, or you can use this one here. This little button here allows you to change this USB port from just a regular charging port to a data charging port. So this will charge, but it'll also connect to the screen. So if you're using like a USB stick with music, or if you want to use wired CarPlay or Apple or Android Auto, you can plug it into there with this light on. And if you just want to charge a phone, you can do that as well. But you can wirelessly charge a phone here, just not here. In the top trim level, you can charge 2 phones. Directly above all that is the climate control system, and of course the heated seats, ventilated seats buttons. So we have dual zone automatic climate control, and it's 3 levels of auto, which is nice, so it can reduce the intensity of the automatic climate control system. And of course we have in the center here, so a lot of touch sensitive buttons, but you know what, they actually work pretty well. And they play a neat little graphic when you press them as well. See that? Super cool. So 2 levels of heated steering wheel, and it's not just the grips, it's the whole steering wheel, as Hyundai has always done. On the right hand side, of course, we have the heated seat and ventilated seat buttons for the passenger. And left hand side, there's the buttons for the driver. We have automatic recirculate. So you can see the recirculate button right here. If I pull the windshield washer fluid, it automatically turns on recirculate, so you don't have to smell the washer fluid. I believe that it does that going through a tunnel as well. So let's have a quick look at the climate control settings in here. Go to setup. Let's see. I don't see it in there. Where is it? Under here, there we go. There's climate, recirculate air. Ah, yes, activate upon entering tunnels. So when you go through a tunnel, it'll turn on the recirculate for you as well, so you don't have to smell the gross tunnel air. Now, that is all, basically everything in this panel is all related to climate control. We can take this actually off. So reduce some glare. There we go. That's better. Now this is all climate control. Right below that are some other buttons that kind of relate to driving as well. So we have our auto hold button, which is stop the vehicle from moving when you take your foot off the brake. Here's where we were changing the driver and terrain mode button. So the drive modes, basically you just push this up or down. If you want to switch to terrain, you push that first, and then you move this up or down. So, whoop, there we go, just like that. So that's how you change the drive modes. We have our auto start stop. We can turn that off temporarily there. Hill descent assist works up to 40 kilometers an hour, basically maintains your descent speed. We have the camera button here, which I'll show you in a moment, and then our parking sensors. So this is where you can turn the parking sensors on and off. But check this camera out. Obviously, you know, when we put the car in reverse, it'll come up as well. But first I want to show you what this looks like. So this currently is showing our front camera and our top-down 360 view, and you'll notice when I turn the steering wheel, it shows the swing of the side of the car, not just where the front of the car is going, or in the case of the backup camera, the swing of the front edge of the car as you make that turn, and of course, the dynamic steering lines. Look at how clear that is. Even the refresh rate on those lines is just incredible. Find me another brand that does it as good as Hyundai. That is a really, really nicely done camera system. Top-down system, all of the angles are stitched together. There's no weird black lines there. And we have, check this out, this. How cool is that? A 3-dimensional rendering of the vehicle. And watch what happens if I turn the steering wheel. Look at that. It even moves on that fake car. That is so cool. And of course, if I put the vehicle into drive or whatever, you'll see these tires rotating as well. Now, as far as the options that you get within the camera system, check this out. If I tap this, it's the same on the front camera, by the way. But if I tap this and hit that, it gives us a top-down view. Hit this icon, gives us a side-to-side view. So this is really good for parallel parking because I can see the wheels there. I can see the side of the car. On the front one, it's the same thing. You can see the front wheels. Look at that. So it just makes your car super skinny so you can see exactly where it is in relation to the curb that you're parallel parking against. And then, of course, you can just go full screen front camera or full screen rear camera. So lots of spectacular options on that camera system. One of the best in the business. We do also have some settings here, so we can turn the parking distance warning system on and off. We can change, displays parking distance warning on top view. So essentially what you'll see is these little lines will come up as you approach something. It'll show you that on the top down view. Top view parking guidelines displays parking guidelines on the top view, and then obviously you want that on, and then rear view parking guidelines. So you can turn all of that stuff off if you want. Not sure why you would want to, but anyway, that is that button there. Or just put the car into reverse, and of course it comes up as well. Or when you're driving forwards, if you get close to something, it'll turn on the front camera. So if I drive forwards here, you'll see what happens. As soon as the front picks up something in front of us, oh, I guess it doesn't do it right now. Interesting. Probably because I have it set on that. All right, there we go. But yeah, notice right here, the forward parking lines, that's part of the sensors. If I get a little bit closer, okay, I'm not going to get it closer. Oh, there we go. So that just changed yellow. It would actually change red if we were getting way too close to something. So red is about, a foot away from the object in front of you. So some pretty good parking systems there. Okay, getting a little further above the climate control now, we have the volume knob, all the buttons for the stereo, and the tuning knob there, and of course our hazard button is there as well. We're going to get back to the stereo in a minute here because I want to show you a few other things. So first off, we have the auto-dimming rearview mirror with home link buttons. By the way, guys, this button is two-way communication. These two are one-way communication. So set this one up first and then use the other ones for other stuff. Okay, up here in the console, we have our call for roadside assistance or call for emergency assistance. So I'm not going to press those buttons now, of course. We have individual map lights on either side here, beautiful LED lighting. We have the button that turns on all the lights, front and rear. And then, of course, the button that turns on all the lights, front and rear, when the doors are open. So you don't want this light on because that turns that system off. We have our front control for the sunroof. Let's see how far back that goes. Goes back to there. And it's automatic, so I can press that forward to close it, of course. And then this one here is for the rear shade. So the rear shade, which can be stopped anywhere along the way. So if I want to, I press it again. There it goes. It stops there. And we're going to go ahead and open that up. The glass in the back, of course, does not open, though. Also, if I push the front one upwards like this, it vents the air, as you can see. There we go. And of course, we have a manual shade for the sunroof. Both of the visors, by the way, do slide out, which is nice. They both have lights and they both have mirrors. Okay, now it's time to talk about the infotainment screen. Now, there was those buttons down at the bottom there, but quite frankly, they just do the same things as what's on here. There is a star button along the bottom that allows you to quickly open up whatever thing you want. You can actually choose what you want it to do, but we're going to ignore that for now and just talk about this screen. So this beautiful 12-inch non-polarized screen, which means you can wear polarized sunglasses, is very, very clear. First of all, it's a very high resolution screen, and you can see they've upgraded the software and they've upgraded the hardware, and it's super snappy. No glitching out. It looks great. It works great. Okay, we're going to cancel the route that we currently have set there. There we go. So first off, starting on the home screen, you can see we have our nice little mini map here. Anything that I touch here, of course, will bring up the corresponding thing that it's talking about. So if I tap here, it's going to bring up the navigation system. Now, guys, it doesn't actually do those weird lines in real life. I'm not sure why it's doing that. There we go. That's a little better. But yeah, in reality, it doesn't actually do that. So I didn't see any of that on the screen. Just had to tap my phone screen here. But now it looks a little bit too dark, so I'm going to drop it down again. Or a little bit too bright, sorry. There we go. So don't worry about the weird little dithering lines there. It's not actually happening in real life. Okay, from the navigation system, you can see we can go three-dimensional view. We also have a mini map on the side here, which we can get rid of because we're currently looking at the map. If I go back to the home screen, we have... I'll darken this again here. So with the built-in navigation, you can, of course, use voice recognition, or you can just quickly go home or add a favorite as well. Now, of course, if you want to set an address, you can do that by voice, or you can type it in using the search button down on the row of buttons down at the bottom. Now, that's the physical buttons further down the screen here. So I can now search for an address. I can even search for something in the setup, or a contact, or the name of a song or something like that. So basically, the search button will bring us to that screen that you just saw. Now, as far as the search button on here, I don't think there's a search button directly in here. Possibly if we go to a menu item, let's see here. No, it doesn't actually have a search from direct. Oh, sorry, it's right here. I'm missing it. If I tap here, I can then do a quick search for the same thing. I can go points of interest, addresses, setup, contacts, media. So pretty cool. All right, so going back to the home screen though. So built-in navigation, very, very good. Give it a shot. The media. So if I tap media here, it's going to ask us where we want to play media from. FM, AM, Sirius XM, Bluetooth, USB music, or Sounds of Nature, Android Auto, Apple CarPlay. Sounds of Nature. Let's see if they got anything new. Nope, still the same old stuff. And we're going to turn that volume down right away. There we go. Okay, so Sounds of Nature is interesting, but not something I'm going to talk about. Basically, it's just nature sounds with music played over it. FM, let's go to the FM stations here. Now, you'll notice that we have a list of all of the FM stations that the stereo can pull from currently that are coming in clear. We do also have HD radio, which is nice. And you'll notice if I press the little star here, it's now set that station in our favorites. So if I were to go to favorites, there it is. Same with the Sirius XM station. So if I put it on Sirius XM here, you can see I can choose whichever one I want. But if I hit the star there, now it's going to be in the favorites. So there we go. So we have favorites in both the FM and Sirius XM stations, all in the same list. So you can do that with AM, FM, and Sirius XM. So all in the same easy accessible list. Phone, of course, takes us to the phone screen. If I swipe over, phone projection will turn into Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, depending on what's plugged in. Voice memo is where we can record our voice and play it back at a later time. Weather, this needs BlueLink, okay? So that's just going to give us a forecast, which is cool. Valet mode allows you to put the vehicle into a mode where it locks everything down that's personal. Vehicle diagnostics also requires BlueLink, but that basically gives you a quick diagnostic of your vehicle. Setup, we're going to get back to. Maintenance allows you to set up maintenance reminders and such. HD radio data, this one's lots of fun. So we can check the traffic in the area using data that's sent to the vehicle via FM radio stations or HD FM radio stations. So it shows basically what's nearby or what's on your route or both. So that's kind of cool. Doppler radar uses HD radio as well to get Doppler radio data. It doesn't show you everything though. This basically just shows you, precipitation. And it shows you kind of a legend of what it's going to look like on the screen. But the big one is fuel prices. So let's have a look at fuel prices. Check this out. We can see where the cheap fuel is. And if I want, I can navigate to one of those locations very easily simply by hitting go right there and then route. Obviously, there is no BlueLink currently set up, so we're going to close that for now and then start guidance. And there we go. Now it's starting the navigation route to that location. Sorry about that dithering, guys. There we go. I can fix it simply by tapping on the screen, but unfortunately now this is going to be a little bit brighter, so I have to drop the brightness down again. There we go. That's just my camera. All right, so aside from that, we also have our notifications. It's also part of BlueLink, and then our online manual, which we can scan, which is nice. So when you scan this, it takes you to an online manual. But the cool thing is that if you're in, for instance, the stereo, and you hit this little menu button here and go online manual, now when you scan this, it'll take you directly to the manual, and it'll take you directly to the page that talks about the radio. So very, very smart. Also, on any one of these applications, if you swipe in from the side of the screen, you can actually get the little sub screen here, a little mini map screen or whatever, and you can see even the clock can be changed. So there's lots of customization with how you have the screen laid out. Let's go to the setup. Now I can either push the setup button here or I can press that little hard button down there. So I'm going to do that. Okay, vehicle settings. So we're going to start with vehicle because there is a lot of settings that we can play with in here. Now when I go to vehicle, it does take you to some of these things as well. So let me show you here. So if I tap vehicle and then go to driver assistance as an example, you'll notice that some of the other icons that are within here are in driver assistance now, but they're not really because the the screen we're looking at, the driver assistance screen, is this one. So this is just a quick menu to get you to other locations. So anyway, starting with driver assistance. So we have driving convenience, smart cruise control. We can adjust how quickly things react, how far it stays from the car in front of you. So there we go, just changing all of these things a little bit for the buyer of the vehicle to the way that most people like them. And then driving safety, you can see we got autonomous emergency braking here. Everything that you see, I mean, all of the stuff's enableable and disableable if you don't want it. So there's a ton of safety settings. To give you an idea of just how many safety settings there are, check this out. Safe exit provides a warning and door control when an approaching vehicle is detected in the vehicle's blind spot while exiting the vehicle. So that's when you're parallel parked. It'll actually keep the rear doors locked until a vehicle has passed by. Blind spot safety provides warning when risk of blind spot collision is detected. It provides vehicle control when departing a parallel parking spot. So it's amazing just how much you get here as far as features go, guys. I'm not going to talk about every single one because this video is already getting too long. But you know what? Pause the video if you'd like and read what you see on the screen because, yeah, there's a lot of it. Here's our speed limit warning, speed limit assist. We can actually have the vehicle slow down if if you're going beyond the speed limit. We're going to leave that. We will change the offset to 10 kilometers over. Parking safety. We have our camera settings, which we were looking at before. Surround view monitor, of course, is on. Parking distance warning is on. Rear cross traffic safety and rear collision avoidance is all turned on as well. Tons and tons of different things we can change here. Driver attention warning. So leading vehicle departure alert. So if the vehicle in front of you starts driving off, you'll get a little notification saying, hey, you can go. All right, if I go to the drive mode thing here, I can put on the drive mode change alert. So now when I change the drive mode, you get this little thing pop up and it just tells you which drive you're in. But check this out. You can go straight to the My Drive settings. What are the My Drive settings, you ask? Well, we can change the powertrain and keep the steering the same way. So if I want sport mode but normal steering, I can do that. That's different than the sport drive mode. So if I put the vehicle into sport drive mode, that tightens up the steering wheel. But if I don't want a tight steering wheel, I can actually put it into My Drive mode, which is sport mode with a normal steering wheel. Or I can put it into normal with a sport steering wheel. So that's just tightened up steering wheel. So that's the My Drive mode button. So kind of neat. Under climate, you can see here we have our recirculate air, automatic ventilation, defrost and defog options. Does that automatically. I love some of the features, like for instance, the air conditioner auto dry will automatically dry the vents after the AC has been run, so it stops mildew from building up. Under seats, we have our seat easy access system, so the seat will move back when you shut the car off. But the other cool thing is the seat change position alert. So if I move the seat now, it's going to tell me exactly what setting I'm moving. So if I'm not sure what I'm doing with my seat, now I get a visual indicator of what it's doing. Under lights, that's where we change the ambient lighting color and brightness. A one-touch turn signal, we can set to 5 flashes. The welcome light, so basically there is a little light in the door handle that lights up as you approach the vehicle. And of course, the mirrors fold out. So you can turn off all of that stuff as well. Under door, there's your auto lock and unlock, 2-press unlock, power lift gate, opening speed, smart lift gate, and remote window control. So if you hold down the unlock button, you'll actually open up the front windows. Pretty cool. Digital keys, where we can set up our smartphone to act as a key. And then under convenience, we have a rear occupant alert. So anytime the rear door is opened, it will remember that and remind you to check the rear seats before leaving the vehicle. Here's also where we can set our service interval reminder, which of course I do need to do for my client. So I'm going to do that real quick. So 8,000 kilometers or 8 months. And then we have our oil change reminder, which is currently on. This is where we can enable and disable the wireless charging system for your phone. And then we also have the charge indicator. That's interesting. So you can actually change. Oh, that is so cool. Look at that. So when your phone is charging, it does that. I wonder what type 1 looks like. Oh, it just lights up in orange. Oh, definitely we want number 2. And here's our auto rear wiper setting. Okay. So that's everything in the car vehicle settings. But we also have navigation settings. Obviously, we want to see vehicle speed on the navigation. Obviously, we want to see our traffic information. We have traffic colors, so red, green, blue, depending on the severity of the traffic. And we also have things like the size of the font. I mean, it's just an enormous amount of features, guys. Under sound, you can see we have speed-dependent volume change control. So the faster you go, the louder it gets. We have a maximum volume limit when we turn the car on. We can change the tone, so if we want to add a little bit of bass, for instance. We can change the radio noise level, so noise reduction level, which is cool. We have device connections where you go to connect your phone. So wireless CarPlay and Android Auto in this vehicle. User profiles, so you can actually set up different user profiles, which will, this is pretty cool. This will actually remember things like, the lighting level, the ambient lighting color, that sort of thing. And even the phone that's connected. Voice recognition settings, screen layout. So here's where we can change our graphics style for the instrument cluster. So I'll let you see what that looks like real quick. So now we have a digital instrument cluster versus an analog instrument cluster. And we have different graphics modes, of course. That was the same as the drive mode. So we're going to leave that on link to drive mode. So screensaver, clock. So when we shut the screen off, we actually have a clock. And then our split screen options, what we actually want to have on that little mini screen that comes up. Buttons just allows you to customize the types of buttons. Oh, display, sorry. This is cool. So we have auto adjust on the brightness, of course. Obviously, we'd want that on. Blue light filter, we'll turn that on as well. So after it gets dark, the blue light filter kicks in. Cluster settings, we already saw. Blue link settings there. And then general, this is where we can see our update. There is over-the-air updates. It's just not active in Canada yet. But we do need to hit the daylight savings time. There we go, because we are now in daylight savings time, apparently. So there we go. All right, so I think that's everything. My customer is actually here, so I need to go, but that's everything. We've covered everything on this vehicle. We do, of course, have a calligraphy and an XRT coming in soon. We've got the hybrid models, the lower trims. So stay tuned for more videos on the Santa Fe. It's going to take me a little while to get them up because it just depends on the stock level that we have. And currently this is the only one. We have another one parked next to us here, but it's also a luxury. So hope this video helped you out. If it did, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Comment below if you have any suggestions for future videos. If you want to know how something works, by all means, let me know. But I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you getting all this way. Show your appreciation for me making this video by hitting like and subscribe and commenting. That'd be awesome. Thanks so much, guys. Have a great day.